Christa Gail Pike was born on March 10th of 1976.
It's gonna become a series on God. I just came up with some shit. This history class, chat. Tune in to history class right now. This is history class. Everybody, get off your phones. Turn your phone off. Hey, whoa. Don't turn your phone off. Unless you know. Hey, if you reacting, hey, if you watching this guy, it's a good fucking guy. If you're watching him, don't turn your phone off. But hey, pay full steam ahead, chat. Look at your screen. Pay attention.
Glenn Pike and Carissa Hansen in Durham, North Carolina. Christa was born with brain damage and a brain malformation. Now, this was allegedly due to alcoholism from her mother drinking while she was pregnant with Christa. Christa's mother denies this and says that, oh, I didn't drink. And I say,
that's such a shitty thing to do, bro. That genuinely pisses me off. That's such a shitty thing to do when you're pregnant, bro. Like, dead ass. Like, yo, you cannot be doing shit like that.
Sober when I was pregnant, it didn't happen. However, the doctor said, yes, it did happen, and Christa was actually born with fetal alcohol syndrome, which then would later go on to cause her to have seizures when she was just a young child. Growing up, Christa had a troubled childhood. Her mother would even go on later to admit to being a horrible mother. She actually blamed herself for some of her daughter's actions and just said she was horrible. She definitely had a bunch of different random men in and out of Christa's life, and Christa would bounce back and forth from her mom's house to her dad's house and eventually to her grandmother's house, and she would actually even go between two different states and, you know, bounce back and forth. And it is even said that Christa's father was aggressive and too rough on her. You guys know what I mean. And then when Christa would go to her mother's house, allegedly Christa's mother's boyfriends would just have their way and do whatever too. So she was just not
What the fuck? You telling me you sat there and let your daughter get touched? You let your daughter get touched? And you just sat there and watched? My nigga, you're done. Something's wrong with you, no deadass. You're done.
Protected, severely neglected, and was just getting it from every which way.
Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank you.
Before we get into today's video, I do want to let you...
Fuck! Alright, my bad, chat. Okay. Hold on, let's tee up. We were somewhere... Hold on. Hey, YouTube niggas, you don't have to deal with this. I'll cut it out, alright? For you guys. They not better than us, though. Hey, live stream niggas, they not better than y'all. Tune into the live stream, YouTube niggas, alright? Is she trying to get us on keto? I think she tried to get us on the keto diet.
She loved her grandmother so much and wanted to be with her as much as she could. She did grow up and eventually get her GED in 1993, and by this time she had already been to 12 different schools. So, I mean, she was just all over the place. By the time Christa was 18 years old, she had been hurt by 7 different family members.
Dang.
7. She had allegedly been taken advantage of by 3 different people. She had just really went through it. When Christa was about 10 years old, she took a bottle of Tylenol and tried to go to sleep and not wake up. After this happened, this is when Christa was diagnosed with depression, but however, nothing was ever followed up on. Nobody got her the treatment that she needed, and therefore she just continued to struggle. And then at 12 years old, when Christa's grandmother died, this is when she had the worst time. I mean, her grandmother was the person that she really felt connected to and loved the most, and now she was gone. And after this is when Christa tried to end it all again. Things continued to happen to Christa, and this is why she would later be diagnosed with bipolar disorder as well as post-traumatic stress syndrome. But again,
Chat, this shit is sad as fuck. I did not think it was gonna be like this. I thought we was gonna be able to have like some, like, look at the title. I'm like, look at the title, chat. Wait, can y'all see that? Hold on, let me move my phone here. Look at the title, chat. I'm thinking we finna have some fun watching this, bro. I'm just feeling sad. I'm not even feeling good no more, bro. Like, chat, we start watching this, I'm not even feeling good no more. I thought we was finna have some fun. I thought it was gonna be like shit.
And Christa never received the proper medical care that she
It's
needed.
interesting,
And
though.
instead of getting the treatment that she desperately
She got a
needed,
mustache.
Christa
My
was
bad.
continuously
My bad.
punished for acting out. But
bad,
even though
Chuck.
Christa never got the treatment that she needed, there was like a lot of documents where these medical professionals were suggesting, hey, Christa's got some issues. You need to bring her in. She probably needs to be medicated. She needs to have these different appointments. But nobody followed up and nobody
Posture
did
check.
anything. So some people would say that Christa really never had a chance at life. But the chance of Christa's lifetime
Oh, my bad.
fell into her lap in 1994 when she was accepted into the Job Corps program in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Let's
Now, let me
go,
describe to you
WAW.
guys, I found a
Wait.
newspaper clipping that
got a job,
described
right?
what this Job Corps facility was like. The idea back then of Job Corps was where like young people, teenagers, all the way up like from 16 to 24 could go to. They would live in this facility. They would get, fed. They would get education, counseling if they needed it. And they would be taught a skill.
Bro, my dumb ass thought she got a job. What is wrong, Chad? I literally thought she said that Christa got a job. What
or
the
a
fuck?
trade or something like that, and it was all government funded.
They put her in a medical facility, right? A mental health facility. They put her in Arkham Asylum. That's
I
tough.
remember hearing about it when I was young, and it seemed like an amazing opportunity. And it was for the poor community. It was literally geared towards people that were in the poverty level. And I believe 66,000 different youth got accepted into this program yearly in the United States. And they had 111 different facilities. And if you hear her story already, she was the perfect candidate for this. I mean, she was poor. She was from a troubled past. She needed counseling. She needed some sort of skills. She needed a safe place. And so Job Corps seemed like the thing that could change her life. The way that they described this facility in the newspaper clipping, and I'll put a piece of it up here, was this was an old inner city motel, okay, that they turned into the Job Corps facility. And what they did was they put a 6-foot wired fence all the way around it. Y'all, this is starting to sound like a prison.
Yeah.
But they specifically said, now this wasn't a detention center. I guess they put the fence around it, or they're saying they put the fence around it in order to protect the people inside because they were in the inner city. But like, just imagine this like old hotel down in, the inner city, and it's like got this big wired fence around it. The big gate opens and you're like going into Job
Jail.
Corps. Nevertheless, Christa was provided 3 square meals a day. She was provided counseling services if she would, need it, and the job training skills that she wanted. And she, at this point, had an opportunity to make her life better. The problem with this is, though, the Job Corps facility takes a lot of rough youth and they put them all in one place, and you're bound to have problems with that. Any of y'all ever go to an alternative school? Okay. And because of that,
Sounds like juvie, chat. It should sound like juvenile.
it was a toxic environment when she got there. I found in a newspaper clipping where 2 girls that were in Job Corps with Christa said that they knew her before she went in, and before she went into Job Corps, she was actually well-mannered, she was nice, she was calm, but they saw her there, and they saw within 2 weeks, it's like she changed into a different person. Now, they say she changed into a person because she met a guy there, because Job Corps was co-ed, named Tadaryl Ship. Tadaryl was 17 years old and just a year
big
younger
black
than
man.
Christa. Now,
I'm sorry.
allegedly, Tadaryl was into the occult and into satanic worship and devil worship and stuff like
What
that.
the fuck, Chad?
This is one of those 2 girls that I was just telling you about, said that they noticed that Christa began wearing a necklace with a small silver pentagram on it. Now, this guy, Tadaryl, was allegedly practicing Satanism since he was 11 years old. So he had been in this for a while, and it's like Christa just sucked right into it. Christa was very possessive of Tadaryl. Like, she was way more interested in him than she was her vocational training at this point. And because of this, she became super jealous of another classmate because she thought that she had a crush on her boyfriend Tadaryl. Christa was convinced that 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer was trying to steal her boyfriend Tadaryl, even though Colleen tried to tell her, no, no, I don't like him. It's nothing like that. And Colleen's friends even tried to tell Christa that. Christa had it in her mind that Colleen was trying to steal her boyfriend. 19-year-old Colleen was quite different than Christa. She was from Florida and she was motivated to be there. Like, she was excited to be there.
Bro, these niggas are grown. I thought these were like 16, 17, 15-year-old niggas. These niggas are grown.
She was excited about getting her GED
What?
and starting her vocational training. And although, of course, she wanted friends and she wanted to be, you know, in and get along with everybody. I mean, they all lived there. They slept in their rooms. They ate in the cafeteria. They went to classes together. And so, of course, she wanted to get along with everybody. She
Word.
was actually there trying to get her education. Colleen had a big smile and a family that loved her and was so proud of her. She was going to get her GED and then go on to do computer skills, which you guys back in the 90s, you know, the early 90s, like getting your basic computer skills was like everything, right? Like nowadays, your 1-year-old's got basic computer skills. But nevertheless, that's what she was there for, and her family was super proud of her. However, Christa did not like her and began to plot the unthinkable. Christa, along with her friend Shadala Peterson, who was 18 as well, planned to lure Colleen to an isolated, abandoned area near the University of Tennessee campus to get revenge on her because, again, Christa was convinced Colleen was trying to steal her boyfriend.
Chat, they better catch a body. They better catch that first body.
Right. They made this plan while allegedly Daryl sat back and enjoyed it. He allegedly had been telling Christa that he needed a sacrifice anyways to give
What the fuck is happening?
to
What?
Satan. So on January 12th of 1995, Christa, Daryl, Shadala told Colleen that they had some weed. They wanted to make a peace offering with her. They were all going to go into the woods, smoke, chill, and everything would be fine.
Chat.
Everybody would get along. However, once they got into the woods, Shadala kind of fell back so she could be the lookout, and this is when Daryl and Christa jumped on Colleen and began to beat her. For 30 minutes to an hour, Colleen, who came to Job Corps thinking that she was going to get her computer skills and go on to find a career one day, was beaten and tortured. It was said that Christa and Daryl took big chunks of rock concrete and beat her with it.
Yo, I thought they were about to say
took
took big chunks out of her body. I was about to click the fuck out of the video.
Box cutter, and they slashed her open. And they also hit her with a meat cleaver. Throughout the attack, it is said that Christa was begging for her life. She was begging and pleading and promising Christa that if she would just let her go, she wouldn't tell anybody and she would go back home to Florida and she would never have to see her again. And, you know, she was just saying anything and begging, and the two of them didn't stop. As a matter of fact, it was said that Christa was even laughing and that Christa even looked at her at one point and said, "It's too late. I've gone too far. I have to kill you." Daryl would even go on to carve a pentagram into Colleen's chest. And then Christa would take a big piece of concrete asphalt and smash Colleen's head. And when she did, it was really bad. Just think about all the gruesome details that I can't tell you. And then Christa took a piece of Colleen's skull and kept it. The autopsy showed that Colleen had...
What the fuck? Why did I say what the fuck like that? But chat, actually, what the fuck is wrong with these people? They're crazy.
And slashed over 300 times. And that piece of
this is
skull
sad,
that Christa took, she took it back to Job Corps and was bragging about it and showing it to people. I even read one article that said that she used it as kind of like a spoon to eat out of. You guys, this is...
Oh my God, I would have punched the fuck out of that bitch. If she walked up to me with the fucking skull part of her head and in her hand and was like, and said, "Look at this. So cool. I killed that one girl and I would have... Oh God, I'm sleeping her. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, chat. Oh God, I'm sleeping the fuck out of that bitch. I don't care, my nigga. Call me what you want. I'm doing the world a service.
So satanic
It's
is
over.
what it is. Demonic is exactly what it is. There's no other word for it. The pentagram on Colleen's chest is what led investigators to look for Satanists at Job Corps. That's when they heard that Christa had been bragging about the whole incident, and when they checked the logbook, they saw that the three of them, including Colleen, had left together that night, but only 3 returned. Within 36 hours, Christa, Taddaryl, and Shadala were arrested. Detectives found the people.
He dead ass look like he does not give a fuck. Chat, he looks like he does not care about anything, my nigga. He looks like nothing matters.
Piece of skull in Christa's jacket pocket. The suspect's rooms were then searched, and a copy of the Satanic Bible was found in Taddaryl's stuff.
Damn.
But when they called Christa in for questioning, Christa admitted to everything. Now, the investigator said not only did she admit to it, she was smiling, she was excited to tell the story, she was gleeful and almost bragging about what happened, and it really took the detectives back. Like, they were like,
she's crazy.
whoa. Now, Christa would go on later to say the reason why she did that was because she thought if she went in there and told everything and admitted it and put it all on her, that her boyfriend and her friend wouldn't get in trouble, although they all 3 got arrested anyways. Christa was then charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. And during Christa's trial, the prosecution had a strong case because of that confession. Colleen's family was so disturbed when they were in court with Christa because she was smiling and laughing and like it was this big show. She was passing notes back and forth to her lawyer and her mother there. Her mother was there. And it was just so difficult for her, for Colleen's family. I mean, you could only imagine just not even knowing that they've lost their daughter, who literally went away to do the right thing, to better herself. And she's in a group of people and she wants to be accepted and she thinks she's just going to go. You guys know how tough it is when you're a teenager and you just want to be accepted, And then to know how far they went and what they did to her, and then to see Christa smiling and laughing in court like it's a birthday party, horrible. On March 22nd in 1996, only after a few hours of deliberation, Christa was found guilty on both counts. And then a week later, on March 30th, Christa was sentenced to death.
It is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by execution in the method prescribed by law, that you shall be transferred to custody of the warden at the Tennessee Prison for Youth, and further, on the 12th day of January 1997, your body shall be subjected to shock by sufficient current of electricity. May God have mercy upon you. Mr. Bates, take this pipe into the
Can I please have my mom before I go?
Mr. Bates, please hold this pipe in the dock.
Please, let me just love my mom.
Please hold this.
Chat, I don't even know what to say.
I love you.
This would make Christa the youngest person
I don't know what to say,
on
Chuck.
death row. Now, some people say that Christa's lawyer failed her because they did not show enough of her past and her history and her abuse and all the things that she had went through in order to defend her. But I disagree. But I'll tell you guys a little bit more when I get to my opinion at the end. After Christa was sentenced, she wrote a letter to Taddaryl, and in it, she said, "I miss you so much. You see what I get for trying to be nice to the hoe? I went ahead and bashed her brains out so she'd die quickly instead of letting her bleed to death and suffer more, and they effing fry me? Ain't that some SHIT? I mean... That ain't it, y'all. That's not even it. Christa would go back and forth after this. She would go and do an appeal and then say, never mind, I don't want the appeal. And then she would try to do an appeal and then she would say, never mind, I don't want the appeal. Then she would write a letter to the judge and say, just execute me. Please just execute me. So he said, okay. He gave her a date. He gave her the date of August 19th of 2002. However, in August of 2001, Christa actually got in trouble again in prison because she jumped on another woman while she was in there with a shoelace and strangled her, and she almost killed her. The newspaper even did a full spread about this situation, and they released like the transcripts of the phone calls because after she ended up almost killing this other inmate with a shoestring, she calls her mom, and she's talking to her mom on the phone from the prison, and she says, "You know, I hate that bee." She said, "I wrapped that shoestring around her and I tried to choke the life out of her. She was passed out on the ground, twitching, foaming at the mouth. Her eyeballs was bugged out so far her eyelids were flipped up. I bet you if she gets near me, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna succeed this time. See, now I know the difference between premeditated murder and what happened with Colleen. Cause see, I premeditated the heck out of this." I'm sorry, y'all. This is just evil. Messing around in that satanic stuff and messing around doing all that occult and the worshiping and the sacrificing. Okay, because of that situation
Yo,
with
I ain't gonna lie, I don't even fuck. Yo, I can't talk. I don't even think it's that. I think she was crazy from the jump, bro. I think she came out crazy, bro. And hey, bro, mom, bro.
shoestring. Christa was convicted of attempted first-degree murder in August of 2004. So because now she had a new court case going, the date that was set to execute her was set off so she could go to court. I mean, sometimes our court systems just, it don't make any sense. Okay, we have a date for this, but we need you to go to trial for this. Okay, but then y'all, in 2012, Krista's done hooked up with this guy named Donald. Okay, now Krista's like doing the whole pen pal thing with him. I mean, don't get me wrong. Krista, she was a pretty girl. She was a pretty girl even in prison. Y'all got to watch out for that, though. I'm trying to tell y'all, the devil was one of God's most beautiful angels. Looks ain't got nothing to do with it. But nevertheless, she was a pretty girl. She's talking to this guy. She's talking to him on the phone. He's coming and visiting her, putting money on her books so she can get her little honey buns and her soda pops in there, okay? She's telling him all the jailhouse talk on the phone. And however she did it, I don't know, she manipulated this man into helping her hatch an escape plan. So this guy, Donald, somehow, some way ends up getting linked up with one of the correctional officers named Justin at the prison that Krista's at. And Donald is giving Justin stuff in order to get this plan together so he can get Krista out of prison. And all the while they're coming up with this plan, Donald is driving 1,800 miles to come and visit Krista. Wow. That's a lot of miles just to come in.
Bro didn't even get the cat yet. He didn't even get the cat yet. He didn't get to touch it. He didn't get to smell it. He didn't even get close to it. And you doing all this? Niggas do anything for pussy. It's nothing to say. People do anything for pussy. It's nothing to say. It's nothing to say.
And visit this woman in prison.
She's in jail.
Who is a prison personnel received.
She's a Satanist and she's in jail. What is there to say?
Information about the escape plan, and this led to a joint investigation involving the Tennessee Department of Corrections and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. And the New Jersey State Police got involved as well. Later, according to the TBI, the plan was not very far along when they uncovered it. But because of the security concerns, the Tennessee Department of Corrections will not release what all the plan was. I want to know what the plan was, but nevertheless, they busted them, and so he was not able to get Krista out of there. And not only was he not able to get his lover out of there, Donald was arrested along with Justin, who was a correctional officer. Now y'all on the inside. And get this, Donald ended up getting sentenced to 7 years in prison behind this mess. Can you believe that? After this situation, Krista has been back and forth to court. At this point in time, she has now decided she does not want to be executed. She wants to live and just spend the rest of her time in prison. And she's kind of hoping, it's seemingly she's kind of hoping she's going to get out one day and blame, you know, like her childhood and all of that stuff. But nevertheless, she's really fighting the execution. Colleen's family wants her to be ended, expired.
I feel them.
There's not a day go by and I don't think about Colleen or how she died and how rough it was.
Her mom?
And I just want Krista down so I can end it, relieve my daughter so she finally can be resting. Honestly, my heart breaks every single day because I keep reliving it and I can't anymore. And I want this to happen before I die. Otherwise, nobody will see justice.
But according to the courts,
That's
there
sad,
is
sad.
going to be a date set. Back in 2020, they were going to set a date, but because of COVID, it kept getting all these extensions and put off. But as of right now, she's supposed to get a set date. We're in 2023. This happened in 1995. Kept getting all these
She said she was pretty. Bitch, you lied.
extensions and put off. But
Bitch,
as
you
of right
lied.
now, she's supposed to get a set date. We're in
She lied
2023.
though, bro. She's not pretty.
This
I don't
happened
know
in
what she was talking about.
1995. It's so bizarre.
She's
There's
still
been
alive?
different organizations fighting for Christa not to get the death penalty. They're saying that she was
Why?
under the age of 21. You know, the brain is not fully developed. We have so much more advanced technology nowadays.
Bro, by the age of 3, bro, whatever. However the fuck old you are, nigga. A 3-year-old knows right from wrong, bro. What do you mean? Like, bro, my little cousin, he knows right from wrong, bro. Like, we all know kids know right from wrong. Like, they know what's right and wrong. Like, why you think, like, nigga, they know what's right from wrong. This is cheap, bro. This is crazy.
That sentence is too harsh for her. And allegedly, Christa is in the prisons trying to counsel younger youth to show that she is rehabilitated.
I spend a lot of time counseling the women around me, particularly the pregnant women. For many of them, being incarcerated is their first time being clean from drugs. When I talk to them about their lives and their addiction, I tell them to focus on how they are right now, how they can continue to be clean, how they can continue to feel this way and go on to be good mothers and good people. I find out about their hopes and dreams and goals, which are often small and achievable. We talk about their future plans and their dreams of starting anew. I will never get out of prison. I will never have a future or children. I will never have the possibility of building a life like these women have. I want them to hold on to this. There's still so much they can do when they get out. And for the women who have harsh sentences, unlike their male counterparts who wind up doing shorter sentences or end up getting out altogether,
I'll be honest, I don't
these
care.
women can demonstrate the ability to live their lives with integrity and grace, if only a little grace were given to them. So many have the potential to be productive on the other side of these prison walls.
And Christa allegedly spends her time selling things like handwritten notes and underwear on Serial Killers Inc. I'm trying to figure out how she's getting her underwear out of the prison. They're letting y'all mail underwear out the prison now? I didn't know that. Christa was on multiple different shows like Killer Women and Women on Death Row. And if Christa's execution proceeds, she will be the first woman to be put to death in the state of Tennessee in more than 200 years.
Everything that I did that night, I knew what I was doing.
So what do I think about all this?
She just admitted to it. She just said she knew what she was doing. Y'all were talking about her brain not being developed. She fucking knew. She knew it was wrong. Fuck your brain, bitch. I do not care. I don't care.
I think she got into that occult stuff too. I think she had a rough childhood, but I cannot listen.
For sure.
You can't blame everything on your childhood. I didn't have it easy. Most of y'all didn't have it easy. We all got a story. I don't care if you had the most perfect life ever. You've had situations that are life-shattering or that will change the course of your life. We all have a story. I understand that Christa had a hard life, but what they did, what she did, taking the person's skull, using, like, that's not, I don't see you blaming that on bipolar disorder. I know plenty of people have bipolar disorder that would never think of doing something like that. You know what I mean? Like, now her getting in.
She carved a fuck is it called, a pentagon into a person, bro. Their chest. You're weird. She smashed somebody's skull in. You're weird. You killed a bitch. Cold, nigga. Cold murder. You're weird. Something is wrong with you.
Into all this satanic occult stuff. Y'all need to stop playing with that. I know it's everywhere and they're trying to make it seem real fashionable nowadays, but if y'all don't listen to anything else I say, stay far away from it. It ain't fashion. in the spiritual realm is real. Well,
weird.
nowadays she's counseling people. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know her, but I don't trust her
wait,
because
she's
when
like,
she
not
went
her,
to
not-
trial,
you know what I
she's
mean?
sitting there
The girl I'm
laughing,
screaming over.
passing notes back and forth, absolutely seemingly no remorse. I know she was young, but what she did was horrifying. And she's in there laughing about it. And then when she gets sentenced, she writes that letter to Daryl. I mean, she just seems manipulative to me. I don't trust her, and I think the world is a better place if she's off the streets. What do you guys think? Do you think a rough childhood like that can equal the crime? Definitely nurture and nature versus nurture has an effect on how we develop and who we grow into. Maybe it was the nature versus nurture, and then you add in the satanic stuff and it's like,
Kapow.
you get Christa Pike. Let me know what you guys think down below. Other than that, I love y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. Please go outside.
I love you too, sister. I paused at a weird ass time. Look at her face. Holy shit. Not playing, but hey. Hey, that was a good video. I told you, hey, history with TeeBrezzy. You feel me? History. Nigga, we're gonna make a series, History with T. History with TeeBrezzy. Son, y'all, I don't know chat. But hey, listen.